Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 302, written by Some Communication 3. Pop 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 goes the popcorn. Now the stove is off, but I never turned it off. And how is not a single kernel burnt? Not 5 minutes ago, this happened. I am stumped. I popped popcorn in the stove, in one of those Cuisinart pans with a glass top cover, just for reference. I have a standard gas stove, home original, so it's about 30 years old. So I put in the oil and kernels, added some butter and salt, cranked up the heat to medium-high. I wait about 5 minutes or so, and the kernels are just starting to pop. This means that I've got about 2 minutes before I've got to start emptying the pan as things go quickly. My idiot ass leaves the room at this time, and I go talk to my wife who's in the computer room. I brain fart and completely forget about the popcorn for about 7 minutes, I'd estimate. I start to walk out of the office and remember the popcorn. Oh shit, I think. I rushed into the kitchen, expecting burnt to shit popcorn. Popped all over the stove and kitchen. What do I find? I find that the pan and top are completely packed full. Next to none of the kernels are burnt, not a single kernel spilled over, and the kicker. The gas stove is off. Neither my wife nor I left the office. I have young kids who don't use the appliances. What the actual hell is going on? Bonus file, written by dismalqueer. Hello, I say, only what am I? My partner and I moved into our house earlier this year. It's our first home together, and we are absolutely delighted. Around a month in, I began hearing noises. Nothing too much. Little things like hearing movement in the kitchen when I was in the lounge or hearing footsteps upstairs. Things I could put down to the house settling in, or maybe sounds from the next door neighbor. These noises continued, and I never mentioned anything to my partner until one night we were watching TV when out of the corner of my eye, I saw someone in a bright red jumper walk from the cupboard under the stairs into the kitchen. I went in to check if we had an intruder to find no one there, and the back door was locked. My partner double-checked around the house to no avail, and we put this down to me being tired. My partner is a skeptic. A month after that, my partner and I were watching a YouTube video on the TV and decided we wanted to go and look in the loft to find some DVDs. We both went upstairs after pausing the video, and when we came back down, the YouTube video was no longer on the screen and someone had searched "Hello" in the search bar. Nobody else was in the house. The doors and windows were locked, and it was connected to my partner's YouTube account that is only signed in on the TV and his phone, which was also downstairs. After that, my partner had told me that he had also been seeing things out of the corner of his eye and hearing noises, but he didn't want to tell me because he thought he was making it up. Whatever the explanation, it's been a bit unnerving to say the least. If you're enjoying this video, consider giving it a like. Now on to the next story. Case file number 303, written by Stupidballoon. My cat is driving us crazy. She needs a timeout. Let's put her in the basement. Wait a second. How did she get out? This happened maybe 20 years ago, and I didn't even think about it until I found this sub. When I was little, I had a cat, and we had this miniature window in the kitchen that opened up in our backyard. It was a low window that was kind of awkward, and my cat loved sitting in it, especially when it was summer. Sometimes she would even use it as a door to go in and out of the house. One weekend, we were having a party. I believe it was my birthday party. And we had loads of people in the backyard, and my mom had that miniature window open because it was perfect access from the kitchen to the table in the yard, so we passed food from there often. The cat was getting in the way, and she kept jumping in the window when we were trying to pass stuff through it. My mom got pissed and told me to go lock the cat up in the basement for now. We had one of those sliding doors for the basement. I put her in there and locked it and went back outside. I then hear my mom yelling, "I told you to lock up the cat. She's getting in the way again." I got super confused and ran inside and checked the basement door, and it was locked. And the cat was in the kitchen? I don't know how to explain that one at all. It happened within minutes. Nobody was inside to open the basement. It was just my mom in the kitchen, and she was busy with food. First time I thought about this in a long time. Case file number 304. Written by succulentbbyy. A ring of importance. Only it vanishes from our very finger, like an accidental magician's trick. After this happened, I had to search for something so I could try to explain what just happened to me. About 2 hours ago, I arrived home from a trip to see my mother. During the trip, I bought a ring at a small shop. I was super excited because I had bought another ring on my birthday just a few weeks ago, and they complemented each other perfectly. After I got settled, I pulled my rings out of my bag and put them on to admire them. I wore them for about 45 minutes, then used the restroom. I don't care if this is TMI, as it is important to the story. Washed my hands as usual, taking off each ring. I had 3 others on as well, to wash them. I was going to take off the last ring, the one I got on my birthday, to dry it with the towel hanging up next to my sink. I slid it off my finger with the towel. I felt the ring in my fingers through the cloth, and as I went to let it fall into my opposite hand, nothing fell out of the towel. I didn't see it fall. I didn't hear it hit the ground or fall in the sink. As soon as this happened, I frantically looked for it, checked the entire bathroom, places it wouldn't even be. I told my partner about this, and he helped me look for it for 30 minutes. And before you tell me it fell in the toilet, I absolutely know it did not. I saw it on my finger as I was washing my hands. I don't know where the hell it went. Maybe I had to lose a ring to gain a new one. Bonus file, written by Klutzy Novel 8991. Even through a skeptical mind, there's no denying their daughter's room is haunted. I've lived my entire life without any paranormal experiences until I turned around 20. Me and my wife lived in old military housing built in the 1930s. For the first year, we didn't notice much. My wife would tell me every day she was seeing and hearing stuff. I would just shrug it off. Well, after my daughter was born, holy crap. Maybe some of you can help me understand what some of this means. The 2 most solid paranormal experiences that made me believe in ghosts. First off, my daughter's room is the worst. Every time I go in there, I get an uncomfortable feeling. It gets cold in certain spots, and the general feeling of the room is off. I usually would argue with my wife because I didn't want her sleeping in there. One night, my wife decided to let her sleep in there. I stayed up most of the night, hovering around the room, periodically checking on her. Well, around 45 minutes later, I get up next to my front door, and I'm talking to my wife. I turn my head towards my daughter's room. A tiny animal, what looked like a cat, came running out of my daughter's room. I could even hear the little footsteps. It looked so damn real. I looked at my wife very confused because we didn't have any animals. I asked her, "Did you see what I just saw?" I then ran into my daughter's room and nothing. I checked in the hall where the animal would have run, but both doors leading to the kitchen and bathroom were closed. Nothing was there. I stayed up until 7 a.m. thinking about that, Googled into it, and never came across anything valuable. My second time happened just yesterday night. Me and my wife just got back from a camping trip. We got home really late and were getting my daughter ready for bed. We hadn't been back to the house for the weekend. It was around 2 a.m. when we got fully in bed. I was dozing off, my wife was dozing off, and my daughter was asleep. As soon as I was about to fall asleep, I heard 3 consecutive knocks. Not like bare hand knocks, but knuckle, high-pitched knocks. I lay there for about 5 seconds before I got up, and as soon as I stood up, my wife asked me if I had heard it too. We both thought we imagined it. I thought it was someone at the front door at 2 a.m. I checked the entire outside of my house, and the inside too. Nothing was there. The next morning, I made my wife knock on different places of the house whilst I laid in the same position in bed. The window, the front door, the kitchen door, and then our bedroom door. Everything either sounded different or too far away to hear it. It had to have been my bedroom door. Edit. Me and my wife tend to not acknowledge anything that happens in the house unless we for sure saw or heard the same thing with clarity. We aren't scared of it by any means. more or less just astonished at what is happening. I have jokingly started to name the entity Steve. My daughter is back sleeping in our room, FYI. Aside from my two major events, the usual stuff I deal with I usually try to disprove, and my wife hates it. Banging on my daughter's walls, doors closing on their own, a draft in my daughter's room at all times, still haven't found why. Shadows and figures moving in my daughter's room. Lights and sparks also coming from my daughter's room.